Hello and welcome. This is Angie with thecountryshootcottage.net here today with another fun Cricut craft. So this video is sponsored by Cricut, however all projects and opinions are my own. So this is our third video in a series. So we are using the Cricut Explore Air 2 in Wild Rose. It's a bundle exclusive at Joann's and I've made 3 projects so far. So this is the third one. So this is a custom corkboard made with iron-on. So if you don't know, you can add iron-on to corkboards and customize them. So this was just a plain corkboard. I painted the frame, made a custom iron-on design to decorate the corkboard, and I even made custom thumbtacks to go on the corkboard as well. So let's get started making this project. To make this project, of course, you'll need your corkboard. So this is a large 16 by 24 board. Then we're also going to make some push pins to go into the board, so you'll need the push pins themselves as well as some small wood rounds that we're going to cover with some of the vinyl. So this is the vinyl out of the Cricut Explore Air 2 Wild Rose bundle. Then you'll need the weeding tool that's out of the same bundle. And then you'll need some iron-on. So we're actually going to use iron-on on the surface of the corkboard along with our Easy Press 2. So the iron-on I'm going to use is the patterned iron-on. This is Natalie Malin, exclusive to Joann stores. So it's a patterned iron-on with a floral look to it. And then I have some coordinating regular colored iron-on in like pink hues, and there's also a white in this variety pack. So I'm going to use a variety of these to cut my pieces out of. So we'll start with the paint, and we'll paint the frame of the corkboard as well as our small wood rounds. Set those aside to dry, and then we'll cut our pieces. So we'll start by painting our corkboard. So one trick is to use just a scrap piece of paper and put it slightly under the frame of the corkboard, and that will protect the cork itself from your paint. So it's a way to mask that area off without having to use masking tape or anything like that. So I'm just going to continue all the way around the corkboard with this white paint, and then I'll allow that to dry, and I'll do a second coat if needed. Otherwise, I'll just start adding my iron-on to the cork itself to complete the project. I also want to paint your wood circle, so you can paint one side and then the sides of the circle. You don't have to paint the back, as that will be against your corkboard. So now that everything has been painted and has dried, we can set it to the side and we can cut our pieces with our Cricut. First, we're going to cut the vinyl for our custom thumbtacks. So I'm going to start with the white, apply that to the mat. I'll then set my dial to vinyl and then feed the mat in and start cutting. Once the machine is done cutting, we'll eject the mat, and I'll continue to cut all the other pieces for our project. Remember that for the pieces that are iron-on, you'll want to mirror your mat before cutting, and then place your material shiny side down on your mat before cutting. So then with all of your materials cut, you can actually start weeding those. So this is a weeding tool that also comes in the Cricut Explore Air 2 Wild Rose bundle. And we can weed all of our iron-on as well as our vinyl. You'll want to weed the excess all around the outside edges, as well as things like the centers of any letters. First we're going to assemble the custom thumbtacks. So I cut the circles on my Cricut Explorer Air 2. So they just need to be about the same size as your wood discs. You can leave a little bit around the edge of the white showing. So I sized mine to be the size of my discs, but if your discs are a different size, be sure to size those before you cut them. And then I also cut an inspirational word for the front of each of the discs. Again, you will need to size these if your wood discs are a different size before you cut them. And then those are over here, and I weeded those as well. So they're weeded and ready to transfer to my discs. And we'll actually use transfer tape for that. I mean, it is just one word per piece, but I think the transfer tape will make it a bit easier, but you can try it without it if you would like. And then we'll use hot glue to add the thumbtacks to the back. So now we have a bunch of purple discs, and we can actually just cut a small piece of this transfer tape from the corner, and we can use it over and over again. So we can just transfer probably most of these with one piece. Might have to cut a second piece if it's losing its stick. For each of these words, we'll add the transfer tape to the top, and then you can burnish over it with your scraper. Make sure that vinyl gets good and stuck. Peel back the backing paper. So I like to peel the backing paper back from the vinyl instead of the other way around. And then when you have your word on the vinyl, we'll just add that to the center of our disc. Burnish it again a couple times and lift up. Then to make this a thumbtack, we'll just use a little bit of hot glue on a plain thumbtack. Add the wood disc to the top. And then allow those to cool, and they'll be complete. And here they are all completed. I actually used 2 pieces of transfer tape for all 8 of them, so you can definitely reuse the transfer tape. Now let's get started on the corkboard itself. I cut and weighted all of my iron-on pieces, and then I'm just laying them out on the corkboard. So these pieces I cut out of the hexagons out of 4 different colors and patterns of the iron-on, and then I cut those into the carrier sheet into the smallest possible that I could. So I trimmed really close around these, and then I can just lay them out on the corkboard and get them ready to iron on. So to iron these on, we're going to use our Cricut Easy Press. This is the Rose Easy Press, and it comes in a bundle. It's at Joann stores. And I actually have another video that I'll link in the description for this video of what all comes with the Rose Easy Press. So if you were thinking about getting the Easy Press, you might want to check out the Rose bundle. Okay, so everything's laid out on the corkboard just how I want it to be. So you can lay this out however you would like. I just kind of did a design with the hexagons on one side and put Boss Babe across the top. And now we're going to iron it on. So we want to protect the actual cork from the bottom of our Easy Press. You can do that one of 2 ways. The first way would be an iron-on protective sheet from Cricut. So you can just lay this down over the top of everything. Put the Easy Press right on top. If you don't have one of these, you can also use parchment paper, and it'll do roughly the same thing. So we're going to lay this down, and then I looked up the time and temperature for the iron-on materials I'm using on top of corkboard in the Cricut Easy Press guide. And so now I just want to make sure everything's still where it should be, and then we're going to press for the appropriate time and temperature. And we just press the green button on the Easy Press. I already set the time and temperature with the buttons. Let it come to temperature. Press the green button for it to start. It'll count down the time. It'll beep when it's done, and then we can move it to the next area. So this is the medium size Easy Press, which is a 9x9. So it's great for medium sized projects. If you have a project like this that's just slightly larger, just move it over. Some of the iron-on will get pressed twice, but that's fine. It won't hurt anything. And then I'm actually going to move the mat itself. And do be careful because all of this is hot. We'll make sure our words are located how we want them. So iron-on is really the only way to add a design to cork where it'll stick. So if you want to make a custom cork board, definitely give iron-on a try. And then we're going to let these cool a little bit and try to peel it back. If it doesn't peel back, we'll just press it again and then try again to peel the carrier sheet back. So we'll just basically continue to press until it sticks. So adding iron-on to the cork board does require firm pressure, so be sure to press down really good on your handle as you press for the appropriate time and temperature. Then after everything's cool, you can start peeling back the transfer tape on each piece, just making sure it's stuck. I did have to press this a couple of times, and then I'll double check as I'm peeling back the transfer tape. If I need to press it again, I'll just use my Easy Press, cover it up with my iron-on protective sheet, and do another press. Then once all your carrier sheets are removed, your cork board is ready for use. So then you can add on your custom thumbtacks and hang it on your wall. So it's super easy to turn a plain cork board into something extra special for your office or your bedroom. So head to the description for this video for tons of links. You can see more about this Rose Easy Press 2, as well as what's in the bundle with that. You can see more about the other two projects I did. Remember I said I did 2 projects. You don't want to miss those as well. You can scroll back on YouTube or head to the description for this video. Find them there. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you like this project, and also subscribe so you don't miss any of the Cricut crafts. So we have Cricut crafts regularly, and I don't want you to miss any of them. And if you want the cut file for this craft, that will also be in the description for this video. So the cut file for if you want to make a board just like mine, look in the description for this video for that. Now, if you have any trouble finding any of those links I talked about, just drop a comment. I'll get you the link. It's not a problem at all. So thank you all so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this fun custom cork board made with iron-on. So if you didn't know, iron-on cork, it's a great project. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, bye.